Alright guys, number 2 from the homework packet requires you to use the quadratic formula, and since we haven't done that recently, it's probably been a year or so for you, I'm going to review that question right here so that you get to see what that would look like. But if you can do it on your own, you should definitely try to do it on your own first. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this graph to find all the factors for the polynomial function. Well, since it has 3 roots, we know that all the factors means 3 factors because it has 3 roots. We see one of the roots right here, so that's going to be really easy for us to work with. If a is 2, then x minus 2 is a factor. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide our polynomial by that and see what we're left with, which will be a quadratic at that point. So we set up our division, 20x cubed plus 8x plus 12. Make sure that you divide up your columns by like terms. Make that look more like a 2. And we're dividing by x minus 2. So x goes into 20x cubed, 20x times, or 20x squared times rather. So we get 20x cubed, and we get a negative 40x cubed, or squared here. We subtract, we get nothing here. We get a negative 7x squared here, and then we bring down our 8x. Then we do it again. So we get negative 7x squared and a positive 14x. Subtract, nothing here, and a negative 6x here. Bring down the 12, and we're almost done. You guys should be able to fly through this at this point. Alright, and we get 0, 0, which is good because we knew that x minus 2 was a factor, so 2 was a root, so we should not have a remainder. So we know we didn't make a mistake there. Alright, so I'm just going to start rewriting this f of x here. We know that we can factor this to the point of where one of our factors is x minus 2, and the other one of our factors is 20x squared minus 7x minus 6. So we've got one root taken care of. There's one factor. We have to take this, though, and separate it into 2 more factors because we need all 3 of the factors. In order to do that, we would try to use double bubble. So we would be looking for things that multiply to negative 6 and also add to negative 7. But this 20 impacts that a little bit. And we may or may not remember how to use our double bubble if there's an a that isn't a 1. So I'm just going to go straight to using the quadratic formula here because as you can see, these roots don't sit nicely on any of these marks, so it's probably going to be a decimal anyway. So we're going to have to try using that quadratic formula. So for those of you who don't remember the quadratic formula, let me write it up here. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Seems like a lot. It's probably been a while since you've done that, but we're just going to take each of these terms, plug in our coefficients, so this would be our a, our b, and our c, and then we'll solve. So I'll set that up for you. X is equal to negative, well in this case our b is 7, so negative 7, plus or minus the square root of negative 7 squared minus 4 times 20 times negative 6 all over 2 times 20. And then we're just simplifying. Negative 7 becomes just a 7, plus or minus the square root of, let's try to knock some of these down. Negative 7 squared is going to be 49, and negative 4 times 20, that's going to be a negative 80. Negative 80 times negative 6 is going to be a positive 480. and then 2 times 20 is 40. All right, simplify it again. 49 plus 480 is 529, so now we're taking the square root of 529, which is 23. So we break this into two cases. When we're using the plus sign, which is 7 plus 23 over 40, and the minus sign, which is 7 minus 23 over 40. So over here, we get a 30 over 40, and over here, we get a negative 16 over 40, and we can simplify those. So now we know that a here is 3/4, and a here is negative 2/5, and now we have to turn those into factors. Well, if those are our a's, then our factors are going to be x minus 3/4 and x plus 2/5. And those are our extra two factors. We still have the other factor from earlier, which is x minus 2. So these are your three factors right here. And I know it seems like a lot of work because you haven't used the quadratic formula in a long time, but that's why we're bringing it up here, to refresh your memories. So you guys should be able to do 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on your own. Good luck, and I'll see you guys on Monday.